Do you smell that? Love is in the air. What better way to talk about Valentine's Day than to talk about the reproductive system? See what I did there? If you've been here long enough, you know I'm not just talking about the birds and the bees. We're going to talk all about my friend hydrogen and how it can help with the reproductive system. Warning, this episode may not be for the easily embarrassed or uncomfortable. Big boy and big girl pants are required to watch this video. Here we go with 5 ways molecular hydrogen can benefit the reproductive system. Before we get to the good stuff, I have to show love to some important folks. Thank you to everyone who supports us on Patreon, especially these companies. We cannot do what we do without the help of our patrons. By supporting us on Patreon, you'll get sneak peeks and inside looks at our stuff. Check out the description below to see how you can support us and our channel. Let's get to the goods. Because I'm a gentleman, let's go ladies first. The first way hydrogen can benefit the reproductive system is for female organs. We'll start with the ovaries. In this study, we see that molecular hydrogen can preserve ovary reserve function. Ovarian reserve is a term used to determine the capacity of an ovary to provide egg cells capable of fertilization. Hydrogen also improved the levels of AMH. AMH is a hormone marker associated with or corresponding to a person's egg count. The study concluded that hydrogen was able to protect ovarian function and reduce the death of ovarian cells. H2 was able to maintain ovarian function comparable to healthy ovaries even when inducing ovarian injuries. This means H2 may be a novel candidate for reducing premature ovarian failure. Here's a quote. The primary finding of this study was that following immune ovary injury, the use of hydrogen water increased serum AMH levels dramatically and significantly compared with those of model mice alone. Furthermore, no significant difference was observed compared with mice without ovarian injury. Based on these results, we concluded that hydrogen water improved ovarian reserve function in immune premature ovarian failure mice. Under the protection of hydrogen-rich water, ovarian reserve function in immune premature ovarian failure mice was comparable to ovary function in healthy mice. Speaking of ovaries, this study also reports hydrogen protected the ovaries from injuries such as the twisting of fallopian tubes. According to histopathological and biochemical examination, molecular hydrogen is effective in attenuating ischemic reperfusion-induced ovary injury. Next, let's look at this quote about hydrogen for ovarian cancer. The in vivo study demonstrated that 6 weeks of hydrogen inhalation significantly inhibit tumor growth as evident by decreased mean volume size by 32% and by decreasing the marker of tumor proliferation by 30%. Hydrogen treatment decreased the expression of this cancer marker by 74%, demonstrating its anti-angiogenesis effects. The in vitro study showed that hydrogen treatment significantly inhibit cancer cell proliferation, invasion, migration, and colony formation in both types of cancer cells. An important finding in this study was that molecular hydrogen could also markedly inhibit sphere-forming ability of both cancer types. The study concluded that hydrogen may exert an anti-tumor role in ovarian cancer through suppressing the reproduction and formation of new cancer cells. And again, here we learn H2 may exert a protective effect against chemo-induced injury. Moving on, polycystic ovarian syndrome is an endocrine metabolic disorder characterized by hormonal disturbances. In this hypothesis study, it was concluded that hydrogen water has the potential to ameliorate the pathophysiological imbalances incurred by PCOS, including hormonal, metabolic, immunological imbalances, thereby improving the infertility of PCOS. We'll get more into fertility later on in this video. This article discusses H2's therapeutic potential for cervical cancer. It suggests that H2 therapy may be a novel therapy for cervical cancer with less toxicity and efficacy comparable to chemotherapy. Here's a quote. In conclusion, the present study reveals a novel mechanism of H2 against cervical cancer, which may serve as a potential therapeutic target in clinical practice. Moving on to the uterus, this study reports that hydrogen reduces inflammation in the uterus in premature labor. These results suggest that inflammation-induced changes in the uterus may be ameliorated through maternal H2 administration. We'll get back to this study at a later point. This study also shows the effect of hydrogen on the uterus. It shows H2 may protect against intrauterine distress and protect the fetus and pregnant mothers infected by COVID-19. Check out this quote. "The protective effects have been verified by clinical trials. Hippocampal damage caused by RR injury in the uterus on day 7 after birth was reported improved for pregnant women who had been treated with hydrogen water and was associated with the reduction of this marker of DNA damage. The available data supports the possibility that hydrogen therapy could protect fetuses of pregnant women infected with COVID-19. In this article, they reported that hydrogen attenuated tumor volume and weight in endometrial cancer, which is a cancer that begins in the lining of the uterus. This study extended our original analysis of the ability of hydrogen to stimulate the activation in pyroptosis and revealed possible mechanisms for improvement of anti-tumor effects in the clinical management of endometrial cancer." Now, I know what you're thinking. I haven't mentioned the obvious female reproductive organ yet that you may want to know about: the vagina. We actually don't have any studies regarding H2's direct effects on the vagina. However, we can surely speculate that since H2 is naturally produced in the vagina of healthy women, it may play a role in keeping the vagina healthy. In addition, vaginal microbiota could also contribute to the internal production of H2 by the activity of hydrogen-producing bacteria, including Clostridium species that normally inhabit lower reproductive tracts of healthy women. And you can take that for what it's worth. Now, let's get to the fellas. The second way hydrogen can benefit the reproductive system is for male organs. Oxidative stress, inflammation, and the dysregulation of nitric oxide all have been associated with the pathophysiology of erectile dysfunction. In this erectile dysfunction animal model study, molecular hydrogen was able to improve ED by improving the production of nitric oxide, decreasing cell death of penile tissue, and inhibiting oxidative stress. Due to these effects, H2 was able to enhance and maintain a penile erection, as well as generally protect the penile tissue. These improvements in ED were seen after 8 weeks of administration of hydrogen gas. Conclusion: hydrogen-rich saline effectively improved erectile function in a diabetic rat model of erectile dysfunction. You're welcome, gentlemen. Now, I have 4 more studies to show you to close out this manly portion of the video. The results of this study demonstrated that long-term treatment with hydrogen attenuated testicular oxidative levels and improved male reproductive function in nicotine-treated mice. And here is another study that examines hydrogen administration for testicular injury. Let's look at this quote. "Taken together, hydrogen administration can promote the recovery of testicular biological function by antioxidative, anti-inflammatory, and anti-cell death actions. More importantly, hydrogen can inhibit structural changes in testicle cells, ameliorate the abnormal regulation of the hypothalamic pituitary testes axis, and thereby promote the recovery of testicular injury. Hydrogen administration also inhibited structural changes in testicular spermatogenic cells, Sertoli cells, and interstitial cells." The results of the study demonstrated molecular hydrogen as a novel therapeutic agent to protect the testes from injury. And here is one more quote from this study on this topic. "Molecular hydrogen alleviated damage, decreased the testicular cell death rate and cell death protein level, increased sperm motility, increase serum testosterone levels, and improve antioxidative capacity. The results show that molecular hydrogen has a strong influence on metabolic pathways, and this type of injury affects mainly oxidative phosphorylation, TNF signaling pathways, and cytokine receptor interactions." The third way hydrogen can benefit the reproductive system is for secondary organs. Breasts are not a primary part of the reproductive system, but are considered accessory organs to the female reproductive system. We thought because of this, it would be beneficial to include them in this video. So we have a couple studies about how hydrogen can help breast health. This study reports that molecular hydrogen helps to ameliorate mastitis. Mastitis is inflammation of the breast tissue that often involves infection. This condition most often affects women who are breastfeeding. Preliminary data shows that molecular hydrogen can protect milk glands in the breast and can reduce inflammation in the breast induced by mastitis. As I said, this study concludes molecular hydrogen was able to improve this condition. In this next study, we see that molecular hydrogen was able to improve breast cancer. The study reported that hydrogen was able to delay tumor growth in the breast, as well as inhibit survival and induce cancer cell death in human and mice breast cancer cell lines. It also indicated that H2 therapy may maximize the therapeutic effect on breast cancer and overcome undesirable inflammatory responses. The fourth way hydrogen can benefit the reproductive system is through hormones. The first one I'll talk about is progesterone. Progesterone is an important hormone for pregnancy and for preserving the uterus's integrity until birth. In this study, molecular hydrogen was able to increase progesterone levels in the uterus. Check out this quote. H2 administration also resulted in significantly higher progesterone levels compared with LPS treatment alone. The next one is testosterone. Testosterone is an important hormone for male sexual health. It is a primary male sex hormone and is needed for producing new sperm cells, enlargement of male genitalia, male libido, and male fertility. In several H2 studies, it appears that molecular hydrogen has the ability to regulate testosterone to benefit the male reproductive organs. It has been shown that H2 can increase testosterone in both old and young mice, that it can benefit male fertility via modulating testosterone, increase testosterone in the testicles, and can restore testosterone levels after injury to the testes. Let's look at some quotes. Serum testosterone levels were increased in both young and old mice after drinking 4 weeks of H2 water. The serum follicle stimulating hormone levels were increased only in the old mice receiving H2 water. Thus, H2 can play a role in modulating signals involved in testosterone hormone production to improve male fertility caused by redox imbalance. Similarly, H2-rich saline decreased testicular and serum MDA levels, testicular hydrogen peroxide, nitrotyrosine, and protein carbonyl levels, decreased testicular caspase 3 activity, significantly increased both testicular and serum testosterone levels, and increased in sperm count and motility in mice subject to chronic nicotine treatment. H2-rich saline attenuated radiation-induced testes damage through reducing testicular hydroxyl radical, MDA, protein carbonyl, and DNA damage levels while restoring serum testosterone levels and superoxide dismutase and glutathione levels in the testes. Next is estrogen. Estrogen is the dominant female hormone and is essential for participating in or regulating female libido, the menstrual cycle, vaginal health, the reproductive and urinary tract, breast, skin, hair, and even the brain. It's safe to say that for females to have a thriving reproductive health, they have to have healthy levels of estrogen. In this source, it appeared H2 was able to directly modulate estrogen levels. Here's a quote. Currently, they reported that hydrogen-rich water could improve cognition function in females with Alzheimer's disease by reducing the decline in brain estrogen levels, estrogen receptors, and the expression of brain-derivative neurotrophic factors. There are other hormones that, while they aren't specifically sex hormones, do play a role in reproductive health. These include cortisol, oxytocin, and serotonin. Increased cortisol levels have been shown to decrease male testosterone levels, and correlating data suggests that elevated levels of cortisol decrease sexual arousal, desire, and satisfaction in women. Oxytocin is widely recognized as the hormone that bonds a mother to her infant. However, it's been shown to be crucial for many aspects of reproductive health, including female sexual arousal, male erections, initiating contractions before birth, and releasing milk for nursing. And it's also been shown that the dysregulation of serotonin can inhibit sexual desire. So, what can hydrogen do here? Let's look at some quotes. Our present results reveal that repeat inhalation of hydrogen significantly blocked the increase of serum cortisol, ACTH, interleukin 6, and tumor necrosis factor alpha in mice subject to CMS, indicating the neuroprotective effect of molecular hydrogen is associated with the regulation of the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, homeostasis, and inflammatory response to stressful conditions, which is consistent with the previous studies. However, it is notable that the expression of certain transcripts, including oxytocin, was reduced to levels equivalent to those observed in the control group. However, treatment with hydrogen water for 30 days prevented age-related declines in cognitive ability seen in SAMP8 as assessed by a water maze test, and was associated with increased brain serotonin levels and elevated antioxidant activity. In addition, drinking hydrogen water for 18 weeks inhibited neurodegeneration in the hippocampus, while marked loss of neurons was noted in the control age brains of mice receiving regular water. You can learn more about hydrogen for hormones and neurotransmitters in this video for hydrogen for cognitive function. Next, menopause is defined as a natural decline in reproductive hormones in women. It can significantly speed up bone loss, increasing the risk of osteoporosis. Research indicates approximately that 1 out of 10 women over the age of 60 are affected by osteoporosis worldwide. The results of this study demonstrates that H2 can be an effective therapeutic agent against postmenopausal osteoporosis. Now, the fifth and final way hydrogen can benefit the reproductive system, that is fertility. First thing I'll talk about is sperm motility. Sperm motility is the ability of sperm to move efficiently and can be a primary indicator of male infertility. This study right here indicates that hydrogen can benefit sperm motility in several ways. First, molecular hydrogen was able to increase or improve sperm motility comparable to other treatments for sperm motility. Secondly, molecular hydrogen was able to increase sperm motility rapidly in 30 minutes. And get this, it had a lasting effect even after hydrogen was gone, maintaining a higher motility from longer than 2 hours. This provides evidence that H2 may be clinically beneficial for IVF or ICSI for increasing the rate of pregnancy. Thirdly, molecular hydrogen was able to increase the survival rate of sperm cells in both low and high survival rate groups. Lastly, it enhanced the mitochondrial function in sperm cells, increased ATP production, and enhanced mitochondrial membrane potential. Here are some quotes. Effects were evident in almost all sperm suspensions, 16 out of 17. With higher survival rates in which an increase of forward motility was observed with the H2 treatment. We found that H2 treatment enhanced mitochondrial membrane potential. Since sperm motility is dependent on ATP content, we speculate that H2 treatment enhances mitochondrial function, promotes ATP production, and then stimulates sperm motility. Conclusion: our results illustrated that H2 treatment stimulates low sperm motility. H2 is a new promising tool for male infertility treatment. H2 is also able to stimulate more sperm cells via upregulating spermatogenesis. Spermatogenesis is the process of developing sperm germ cells into fully developed and mature sperm cells. H2 has also been shown to protect the process of spermatogenesis. Let's see the quotes. Molecular hydrogen increases sperm production and motility by enhancing antioxidation and stimulating spermatogenesis and sex hormone production, particularly in aged mice. This study suggests that hydrogen-rich saline could partially protect spermatogenesis and hemopoiesis, production of new blood cells, in irradiated mice. In this study, we see that H2 increased sperm count and decreased the upregulation of sperm deformation rate. We also see that H2 is able to reduce the death rate of sperm cells and preserve the daily sperm production and sperm quality. To quote this study, therefore, H2 is a new promising tool for male infertility treatments. This study states that collective data shows that hydrogen can protect both female and male fertility. We also made a video a while back on H2 and pregnancy. Be sure to check that one out too. Now, before I go, let me leave you with one final quote. In addition, the lightest and diffusible gas, molecular hydrogen, H2, has been shown to improve erectile dysfunction, testis injury, sperm motility in males, preserve ovarian function, protect against uterine inflammation, preeclampsia, and breast cancer in females. Mechanistically, H2 has strong abilities to attenuate excessive oxidative stress by selectively reducing cytotoxic oxygen radicals, modulate immunity and inflammation, and inhibit injuries, induce cell death. Therefore, H2 is a novel bioactive gas molecule involved in modulating sexual organ homeostasis. So what do you think? Do you think there's enough evidence to conclude that hydrogen has therapeutic potential for our reproductive system? Hydrogen might not help with everything, but it may be able to help you in all the right places. Don't forget to share this lovely video and subscribe to our channel. Check out the description for a lot of good stuff and all of our sources. And that was your dose of H2 with a whole lot of love.